Welcome back. Today we're taking on a market that's, well, both dynamic and incredibly complex. We're focusing on Greece.
It's a perfect case study, really. A fascinating balance of stability on one side and real severity on the other.
And for anyone listening, just to set the stage, your team is the source for this analysis, right?
That's right. We're the Gambling Databases research team, and our whole mission is to deliver these really in-depth analyses of the global iGaming landscape.
So you're going beyond just the surface level revenue numbers.
Oh, absolutely. In our reports, we explore the real-world conditions. I'm talking about local regulations, taxation, the actual player experience, and, what it truly takes for an operator to succeed. Our goal is to give you a clear, data-driven picture of how Greece works.
And when you first look at those raw stats, Greece looks, incredibly attractive.
It does.
You've got a population of 10.4 million, 86% internet penetration, and a fully regulated digital framework in place since 2021.
And that's already created a market that's generating about, what, 1.2 billion in annual gross gaming revenue?
That stability is the initial draw, for sure. It's legal, it's licensed, and it's growing.
Right. We're projecting about an 8% compound annual growth rate for the rest of the decade.
Right.
And this is the core tension we need to unpack. While the jurisdiction offers the legal security and growth, the tax structure is exceptionally demanding.
So it's a market built for scale, but only if you can handle a huge financial drag from day one.
Precisely.
Okay, let's get into that. But first, let's establish the foundation, the regulatory walls around this market.
Well, online gambling in Greece is 100% legal,
Mm-hmm.
but it operates under the incredibly strict mandate of one single authority.
The Hellenic Gaming Commission, the HGC.
The HGC, exactly. And they oversee everything. Sports betting, casino, poker, you name it. They aren't just rule makers, they are actively enforcing. Their word is law.
And getting a license is famously tough. It feels like the barrier to entry is intentionally high.
It is absolutely intentionally. The HGC is sending a very clear signal here. This market is for serious, established players only. If you operate without a license, you're looking at criminal proceedings, crippling fines.
An immediate blacklisting, right?
Immediate. And the application process itself is grueling. It can often span 6 to 9 months.
Wow. 9 months.
And that includes these incredibly rigorous background checks into the financial history and the character of every single owner and director.
So for 9 months, you're just committing internal resources, paying lawyers, setting up shop, all before you've even taken a single bet.
That's it. And the cost just hammers that message home. There's a non-refundable application fee of €50,000.
Non-refundable.
And then if you do launch, there's an annual renewal fee of another €50,000.
So when you combine that timeline with those fees, it's clear. You need deep pockets and a lot of patience. This is not a market you can just jump into.
No, it is not a quick entry jurisdiction. The structure almost guarantees that only major international brands can really compete.
And the compliance doesn't stop once you're in.
No. Operators have to follow some of the strictest protocols in Europe. We're talking robust KYC Know Your Customer and AML anti-money laundering rules from the absolute start.
From day one.
From day one. You have to verify a player's identity before they can deposit or play, not just when they try to cash out.
So what does that mean in practice for an operator?
It means constant digital identity checks, continuous transaction monitoring, and using sophisticated software to spot any suspicious betting patterns. All of it running 24/7.
And there are player protection rules on top of that.
Oh, yes. Mandatory age verification, of course, for 18-plus line. But operators are also required to offer self-exclusion programs, hard spending limits that players can set for themselves.
And they have to be transparent about odds and things like that?
Total transparency. They must publish the return-to-player percentages, the RTP, and all the game odds.
So it sounds like the regulator is pushing a huge amount of the enforcement costs directly onto the operator.
That's a very good way to put it. The compliance burden is essentially just another fixed cost of doing business in Greece.
Okay, so let's move on to the player base. Who is this highly secure, highly regulated environment actually serving?
Well, the market is substantial. We estimate there are around 4.8 million active gamblers.
4.8 million, that's a huge penetration rate, nearly 46% of the adult population.
It's massive. And with the market expected to hit 1.9 billion by 2030, the demand is clearly there.
And you mentioned the average revenue per user. The ARPU is around 250 relo.
That's right. Demographically, the median age is about 45, so slightly older than some other European markets. But the key is that the population is extremely
It's
concentrated,
urbanized.
highly urbanized. 80% of Greeks live in cities, and Athens alone has over 3 million people. That makes marketing and, network deployment much more efficient.
And the digital infrastructure is there to support it. 86% internet penetration and smartphone ownership is over 80%.
The digital readiness is fantastic. It's what gives the market its velocity. Greeks spend, on average, over 5 hours a day online. And the 5G rollout that started in 2023 is a huge deal for this.
Better connections mean a smoother experience for live betting and mobile casino games.
Exactly. Low latency is critical.
So we know they're online, they're on their phones. What are they actually betting on?
The preferences are really dominated by two main verticals. Sports betting is number one, with about 55% participation.
And casino.
Online casino games are a close second, at 42%. And the behavior is clearly mobile first, with peak activity in the evening. It's a leisure activity.
So for operators, the mobile experience has to be flawless.
It has to be the top priority.
All right, this brings us to the most critical part of this analysis for anyone looking to enter. The financial friction. Let's talk about the profit killer.
This is the absolute core constraint of the Greek market, the taxation.
The big one.
Operators face a flat gross gaming revenue tax, a GGR tax of 30%.
30%, and that's on everything.
Everything. It's applied uniformly across all licensed verticals, casino, sports, poker, the whole menu.
Wow. 30% right off the top of your gross revenue. That is a massive operational drag before you've even paid for staff or marketing.
Exactly. And that's before you get to the standard corporate income tax.
Which is what, 22%?
It's 22% applied to your net profits. But the danger here is that people see 22% and think it's reasonable. They forget that the 30% GGR tax has already taken a huge bite out of the pie.
So the pool of profit that you're even taxing at 22% is already drastically smaller.
It shrinks it dramatically. Strategically, this means you have to achieve extreme operational efficiency and, well, scale.
And it must be especially brutal for lower margin games like sports betting.
It's devastating for them. To survive, operators have to be brilliant at cross-selling players into higher margin casino products. Or they need proprietary tech to cut costs. Or they just have to aim for such massive volume that they can dilute that GGR drag. There's no fat in these operations.
Flawless execution is mandatory just to break even, but the squeeze isn't just on the operator. The player gets taxed too.
That's right. Player winnings are subject to a 15% flat withholding tax.
And that's automatic.
It's automatically deducted a payout. So you win 100 euros, you actually receive 85.
That model, taxing both the operator's revenue and the player's winnings, seems designed to do one thing: maximize state revenue.
It's highly aggressive. In our analysis, we give Greece a high player access score, a 7.5 out of 10, because it's legal and safe. But that 15% tax is a real penalty. It hurts player retention and lifetime value.
It makes the licensed Greek sites less competitive on payouts compared to, say, an untaxed market.
Absolutely. The operator has to make up for that 15% disadvantage with incredible loyalty programs and perfect service.
So if efficiency is the only way to beat that 30% drag, let's talk about the operational reality, because that means having a real local footprint, doesn't it?
It's a critical mandate. The HGC requires operators to set up a physical local office or have a binding partnership with a Greek company.
And there are other local requirements.
Oh, yeah. You have to register a Greek internet domain and, crucially, maintain Greek language customer support that's managed locally.
So you can't just run the whole thing from Gibraltar.
No, this isn't a brass plate jurisdiction. The regulator wants accountability and local jobs.
And that local mandate must feed into another major cost: customer acquisition.
It does. If your margins are already razor thin from the GGR tax, a high customer acquisition cost, or CAC, can be the final nail in the coffin.
And what drives the CAC up so high there?
Advertising is very tightly controlled. There are restrictions that limit promotions to certain hours and approved channels. It's meant to protect minors, but the side effect is it limits your marketing reach.
And in a mature market, that means you're paying more to get each new customer.
A lot more. Our research suggests the cost can range from $150 to as high as $300 per new customer.
That is steep. A player needs to generate a lot of revenue over a long time just to pay back the cost of acquiring them before you even factor in the 30% tax.
It is a game of long-term value. Which brings us to the final verdict.
So when you put it all together, the fees, the compliance, the high tick, that 30% GGR tax, What's the bottom line?
Well, the initial investment just to get off the ground, so license, legal, tech, local setup, you're looking at between 350,000 and 500,000.
And the time to actually break even?
Based on current models, a very lengthy 2.5 to 3 years.
Yeah.
That is a marathon in this industry.
So the verdict is?
Our conclusion is that Greece is stable. It's legally watertight, which gives it an operator ease score of 6.0 out of 10, but the high tax and compliance costs make it a classic pay-to-play jurisdiction.
Meaning?
It is reserved for well-capitalized Tier 1 international brands. We're talking companies with at least 10 million euros in operational capital who can afford to play the long game. It is absolutely not for startups or small operators expecting high margins.
And one final critical point. What if an operator decides to ignore all this and just operate illegally from offshore?
The HGC is very proactive on that. They're constantly blacklisting sites, and ISP blocking is ongoing. But the real risk is legal.
How so?
Greece is a full EU member. It has robust extradition treaties with the US, the UK, Canada, all EU states. This means executives of illegal operators, they face real criminal proceedings, personal liability, and significant travel risks.
So this is not just a technical fine.
Not at all. It's a serious legal liability.
So the Greek market offers stability and growth, but it forces a choice between massive scale and profitability, all because of that GGR tax. That's really the main takeaway.
That tension defines the entire market, and it leaves you with a really important question to consider. Given the high taxes on both the operator at 30% and the player at 15%, how much more critical does superior mobile optimization and loyalty programming become?
Because you have to keep players engaged when the financial terms are already stacked against them.
Exactly. The customer experience has to be absolutely impeccable to justify all that financial friction.
A fascinating look at a market where regulation and financial strategy are just completely intertwined. Thank you for walking us through the research.
My pleasure. And for anyone who wants the full text of this report and our other country analyses, you can find all the data behind our scores on our website at gamblingdatabases.com.